Under the dense emerald canopy of the Amazon basin, the rivers are not just channels of water, they are arteries, feeding one of the most complex living systems on Earth. Along their edges, where light filters through the tangled overhang and the banks dissolve into mud, a predator waits in silence. The green anaconda, Eunectes murinus, is not a hunter that chases its prey. It is a patient opportunist, an ambush specialist honed by millions of years of evolution to disappear into the landscape. Its size alone demands attention. Females, far larger than males, can exceed 6 meters in length and weigh over 200 kilograms, a biomass rivaling that of the top land carnivores. Yet despite its bulk, the anaconda is a master of stillness, a living extension of the riverbank, where its moss-green scales are mottled with black and brown rosettes that mimic the play of light on wet vegetation. This is not a reptile that wastes energy. In the flooded forests and oxbow lakes of the Amazon, energy conservation is a survival strategy. The anaconda's physiology reflects this. It has a slow metabolism, enabling it to go weeks or even months without feeding after a large meal. Its body is both a weapon and a trap. The skeleton is a framework of over 200 vertebrae, each anchoring powerful muscles that can exert crushing force far beyond what is necessary to subdue most prey. Unlike constrictors that simply suffocate through pressure, the anaconda's coils act as a hydraulic vice, cutting off circulation within seconds. Blood flow stops. The heart can no longer supply oxygen to the brain. This is circulatory arrest, not a slow strangulation. In the dim, tea-colored water of the Amazon's margins, such efficiency is the difference between a meal gained and a costly injury. The anaconda's senses are tuned for this environment. Vision is secondary. The water is too murky for long-range sight, but pressure-sensitive cells along the skin and a highly developed inner ear register the faintest disturbances in the water. A swimming capybara, a heron landing to drink, or the hesitant step of a human wading too deep, all produce distinct vibrations, patterns the snake can detect from meters away without exposing so much as an eye above the surface. The head is positioned low, nostrils and eyes perched high to allow breathing and sight, while the body remains hidden below. From this position, the strike is short but explosive, relying on speed and surprise rather than pursuit. A human encounter with a green anaconda is rare, yet the dangers are immediate when it occurs. An adult has the mass and muscle to pin a person underwater before resistance can be organized. The constriction is not a gradual tightening. It is an immediate reflexive compression, triggered the moment prey struggles. Often drowning is the first cause of death, with constriction continuing until all motion stops. In the turbid water, disorientation sets in quickly. Panic fuels thrashing, which in turn triggers an even more aggressive response from the snake. For the anaconda, it is not a contest. It is simply the completion of a stimulus-response loop that has been perfected over eons. Ecologically, the green anaconda is more than just a predator. It is a regulator of the aquatic edge. Its hunting grounds overlap with those of caimans, large catfish, and even jaguars, yet its prey profile is broad enough to avoid direct competition. Capybaras, spectacled caimans, large wading birds, and the occasional deer form the bulk of its diet. By targeting species that are themselves prolific feeders, anacondas indirectly influence vegetation growth and nutrient cycling. For example, by controlling capybara numbers, they reduce grazing pressure on aquatic plants, which in turn affects the habitat for fish and invertebrates. This kind of indirect effect is a hallmark of apex predators in complex ecosystems. They shape the landscape, not just through predation, but through the ripple effects of what they choose to eat. There is also a striking seasonal rhythm to their activity. During the wet season, when floodwaters submerge much of the forest, anacondas disperse widely, taking advantage of the expanded hunting territory. Mating often coincides with the end of the rains, when multiple males may converge on a single female, forming a breeding ball that can last for weeks. Such gatherings are one of the few times these otherwise solitary snakes tolerate close contact. The rest of the year they are loners, each maintaining a loose territory where they know every submerged route and deep water channel. The green anaconda's role in the so-called predatory alliance of the Amazon is that of the river's gatekeeper. In a hypothetical cooperative dynamic between apex predators, it controls movement along the riverbanks, a natural choke point where countless species must pass. A jaguar may drive prey toward the water, piranhas may patrol the open current, but it is the anaconda that bridges land and water, cutting off escape in either direction. Whether such interactions are intentional cooperation or simply the overlap of opportunistic hunting strategies is a question of interpretation, but the effect is undeniable. In certain stretches of the Amazon, there is no safe route through. From a biological perspective, the anaconda's adaptations are as much about avoiding danger as creating it. Its camouflage not only aids ambush but also shields it from potential threats, including humans who may view it as a danger to livestock. Its preference for remaining submerged reduces exposure to aerial predators like harpy eagles when young, and to the scorching midday heat that could push body temperatures beyond optimal ranges. Thermoregulation is achieved through the simple act of choosing depth: shallow water to warm, deeper pools to cool, an elegant, energy-efficient system for a cold-blooded hunter. There is a certain irony in how the anaconda's lethality is matched by its invisibility. Many who have traveled the Amazon's smaller rivers and flooded forests will never see one, though they may pass within meters. This invisibility is not a flaw in detection. It is evidence of just how seamlessly this predator has fused with its environment. Every scale, every behavioral choice, every slow breath taken at the water's surface is an adaptation to an ecosystem that punishes waste and rewards patience. For those who imagine the jungle as a place of constant noise and motion, the anaconda offers a counterpoint. Here, survival often belongs to those who can wait, unseen, until the moment to act arrives. In the grand ecological web of the Amazon, the green anaconda does not kill indiscriminately. It takes what it needs, and in doing so, helps maintain the balance between predator and prey, plant and herbivore, river and land. But for the unwary, be it a capybara breaking the stillness of the bank, or a human misjudging the safety of shallow water, this balance can be lethal. There is no warning call, no territorial roar, no display to frighten off intruders. There is only the quiet shift of water, the sudden blur of movement, and then the inexorable tightening of coils in a place where the river itself seems to come alive. Beneath the shifting tea-brown waters of the Amazon, there is a predator whose power lies not in size, but in numbers, precision, and the efficiency of its design. Piranhas, members of the family Ceratosalmidae, have been the subject of fear and exaggeration for centuries. They are small compared to the giants of these rivers. Most barely exceed 25 centimeters, yet their influence on the ecology and psychology of the rainforest far outweighs their physical mass. They occupy a role unlike any other in the aquatic food web. Opportunistic carnivores capable of transforming a living, moving organism into bare bone in astonishingly little time. While the legend of the instant skeleton is overstated, The biology behind it is no myth. In the right conditions, warm water, low visibility, heightened competition, and the unmistakable scent of blood, the transformation from curious shoal to frenzied swarm is real, rapid, and irreversible. The feeding apparatus of a piranha is one of evolution's simplest but most effective tools. Each tooth is a perfect triangle, sharpened like a blade, and interlocks with its opposite to form a shearing surface, much like a set of industrial scissors. This design, combined with the strength of their jaw muscles, some species produce bite forces exceeding 10 times their own body weight, means they are capable of cutting through flesh, tendon, and even thin bone with frightening ease. In water, where drag and movement can dissipate force, this mechanical advantage is critical. A single bite can remove a plug of muscle in an instant, and when multiplied across dozens or hundreds of fish, the effect is devastating. For humans, piranha attacks are rare, but their severity is shaped by environmental conditions. Low water seasons concentrate fish into shrinking channels, increasing competition for food and making aggression more likely. In these same periods, terrestrial animals, including humans, may be forced to wade or swim through areas where food scarcity has primed the shoals for opportunism. A small wound, even one unnoticed by the person, can release enough blood to trigger investigation. The first bite is often exploratory, a quick nip that tests whether the source is edible. If it is, chemical cues in the water, blood, tissue fluids, and even pheromones released by other feeding piranhas can switch the group into full attack mode. Here, panic is a liability. Thrashing movements mimic the frantic escape behavior of wounded prey, drawing more fish and intensifying the frenzy. Yet the piranha is not a mindless killer. Most of the time, these fish feed on a wide variety of food sources: smaller fish, insects, carrion, fruits and seeds that fall into the water. This dietary flexibility is one reason they have been so successful across the vast and varied waterways of South America. They are also important scavengers, removing decaying matter from the ecosystem and reducing the spread of disease. In doing so, they act as a sanitation crew for the river, ensuring that carcasses do not linger long enough to attract harmful bacterial blooms. Ironically, the same behaviors that make them feared as predators are also essential to the health of their environment. In the so-called predatory alliance of the Amazon, piranhas serve as the enforcers of the water column. An anaconda may seize prey at the edge of the bank, but any animal that stumbles into the current, bleeding or struggling, is at risk of meeting the piranhas. Their role is one of finality, to ensure that the river keeps no survivors once weakness is revealed. Even formidable predators like caimans, jaguars or capybaras can fall victim if injured or trapped in the wrong place at the wrong time. The shoal's collective power is magnified by their speed. A coordinated swarm can dismantle a carcass before the current carries it away, leaving nothing but drifting bones and scales. Biologically, their ability to detect food sources is extraordinary. Like many fish, piranhas possess a lateral line system, a network of sensory cells along the body that detects changes in water pressure and movement. This allows them to sense the approach of potential prey or predators without relying on sight. In the turbid waters of the Amazon, where visibility may be less than a meter, the lateral line is essential. Chemical detection plays an equally important role. Specialized olfactory cells can pick up trace amounts of amino acids and other compounds associated with blood or decaying tissue. Together, these systems create a sensory net that can register the presence of food from remarkable distances, often before the prey even realizes it has been noticed. From a behavioral standpoint, The frenzy that piranhas are famous for is not their default state, but rather a high-energy survival strategy triggered by environmental cues. During these moments, coordination within the group seems almost choreographed. Individuals take quick, successive bites before darting away to allow others access to the target. This rotational feeding reduces the risk of injury from thrashing prey and ensures that all members of the shoal benefit. Such precision suggests a deeply ingrained evolutionary strategy, one that maximizes energy intake while minimizing danger. There are intriguing ecological consequences to their presence. Prey species, both aquatic and terrestrial, modify their behavior in areas known for high piranha densities. Capybaras may avoid certain crossing points, and riverbirds often prefer to fish in faster-moving waters where piranhas are less concentrated. Even the seasonal movements of some fish species appear to be influenced by the threat of piranha predation, with migrations timed to coincide with periods of higher water levels when the shoals are more dispersed. In this way, piranhas exert a shaping force on the behavior and distribution of other organisms, a subtle but far-reaching influence on the river's dynamics. For humans navigating these waters, the risks are context-dependent but real. A healthy adult swimming in a deep, food-rich stretch of river is unlikely to be attacked. But a fisherman cleaning a catch, a child playing in a shallow pool during the dry season, or an injured traveler trying to cross a narrowing channel, these are scenarios where the balance shifts. The danger lies not in a single fish, but in the collective decision of a shoal that the opportunity outweighs the risk. When that threshold is crossed, there is little that can be done to reverse it. Perhaps the most compelling truth about piranhas is how seamlessly they embody the dual nature of the Amazon itself, both predator and caretaker, both threat and necessity. They are feared for their capacity to erase life in moments, yet without them, the rivers would choke on decay and disease. In the imagined tapestry of a predator alliance, they are the swift, efficient end to any escape attempt. And whether by chance or by the slow choreography of evolution, their presence ensures that the waters of the Amazon remain both clean and dangerous, a place where survival belongs only to the strong, the uninjured, and the lucky. In the dappled half-light of the Amazon's understory, shadows are not just shapes, they are possibilities. Among these shifting forms moves the jaguar, Panthera onca, the largest cat in the Americas and the apex terrestrial predator of the rainforest. Its body is a dense coil of muscle wrapped in patterned gold, the rosettes broken by black spots that mimic the scattered interplay of sunlight through leaves. At first glance, the jaguar might seem built for speed, but it is not a sprinter in the style of a cheetah. Instead, every fiber is tuned for a different kind of hunting: short, explosive power, and the ability to deliver a killing blow so precise that it bypasses the slow mechanics of suffocation entirely. Unlike lions or leopards, which typically target the throat, the jaguar aims directly for the skull or spine, driving its teeth through bone with a bite force proportionally greater than any other big cat. It is an anatomical sledgehammer with surgical precision. This unique killing method is not just an expression of strength, it's a solution to the challenges of the jaguar's prey. Many of the animals in its range, from caimans to armadillos, are armored in thick hides, scales, or bony plates. A prolonged struggle risks injury, and in the humid depths of the rainforest, even minor wounds can turn septic. The jaguar's bite eliminates that danger by ending the hunt almost instantly, often before the prey has registered what has happened. For a human, the implications are sobering. A single leap from behind can knock a person to the ground, and the crushing power of those jaws can pierce the skull in one motion. There is no time to fight back. The encounter is over before it begins. The jaguar's stealth is a product of both biology and environment. The rainforest offers cover in abundance, but moving through it silently is a skill that demands anatomical fine-tuning. The jaguar's padded paws distribute weight softly across leaf litter, avoiding the dry crack of twigs that would betray its presence. Its shoulder joints allow an unusually wide range of motion, helping it to weave through dense vegetation without breaking stride. The tail acts as a counterbalance in tight turns, whether it's navigating around roots on the forest floor or maneuvering through overhanging branches. In an environment where visibility can drop to just a few meters, these traits make the jaguar nearly invisible until the moment it chooses to reveal itself. While solitary by nature, jaguars hold loosely defined territories that they patrol with a methodical precision. Males range widely, overlapping the smaller ranges of multiple females, and each individual leaves scent marks along travel routes, urine sprayed onto tree trunks, claw marks on bark, both to warn rivals and to advertise readiness for mating. These invisible boundaries have ecological significance beyond jaguar reproduction. By keeping their own numbers in check through territorial spacing, jaguars avoid overhunting localized prey populations, allowing the system to remain stable. In this way, the predator's behavior regulates its own future as much as it controls its prey. Within the imagined structure of a predatory alliance, the jaguar is the executioner of the forest floor. If the anaconda holds the river and the piranha rules the current, the jaguar controls the ground between. Its skill set complements the others perfectly. Where an anaconda relies on patience and a piranha on overwhelming numbers, the jaguar delivers decisive force in an instant. Prey fleeing the water is not necessarily safe. In fact, they may be running straight into the range of the cat. In the ecological reality of the Amazon, this isn't so much cooperation as it is the inevitable overlap of multiple apex predators working the same gradient between land and water. But the result is the same, a network of lethality woven through every layer of the jungle. The jaguar's adaptability is one of its most remarkable traits. It is as comfortable in water as it is on land, a rarity among big cats. It swims with steady, deliberate strokes, using rivers both as hunting grounds and as shortcuts through its territory. Fish, turtles, and even caimans fall within its aquatic diet. This amphibious skill allows the jaguar to cross into areas inaccessible to other land predators, making its hunting range exceptionally broad. From an ecological perspective, this mobility means jaguars can exploit seasonal changes in prey distribution. During the wet season, when the forest floods, they follow the water into newly submerged hunting grounds. In the dry season, they move back toward permanent water sources, where animals congregate. This constant shifting reinforces their role as regulators of multiple ecosystems within the rainforest. The sensory adaptations of the jaguar further enhance its hunting efficiency. Its vision is optimized for low light, giving it a clear advantage during dawn, dusk, and moonlit nights, times when many prey species are most active. Its hearing is fine-tuned to pick out the faint rustle of movement against the backdrop of insect noise and falling leaves. Even its whiskers play a role, detecting subtle changes in air currents that hint at nearby motion. These abilities are not unique among cats, but in the layered, acoustically complex environment of the rainforest, they are essential for cutting through the constant sensory clutter. In terms of interactions with humans, jaguars historically avoided direct contact, their wariness a product of centuries of hunting pressure. Yet when humans enter the dense rainforest on foot, they sometimes cross an invisible threshold, a point at which the jaguar no longer sees them as an anomaly, but as potential prey. Such cases are rare, but when they happen, the approach is ghost-like. There is no growl, no warning display. The jaguar simply appears, often from behind, closing the final few meters in a blur of muscle before striking. In the aftermath, there is usually no struggle, just the silence returning to the forest as quickly as it was broken. One of the more fascinating aspects of jaguar ecology is its indirect influence on the structure of the forest itself. By keeping herbivore numbers in check, particularly large browsers like tapirs and capybaras, jaguars prevent overgrazing of understory vegetation. This control helps maintain plant diversity, which in turn supports a greater variety of insects, birds, and smaller mammals. In this way, the jaguar's presence resonates through the food web, contributing to the resilience of the ecosystem. Remove the jaguar and the balance begins to shift. Herbivores overpopulate, plant regeneration slows, and the delicate equilibrium that has evolved over millennia begins to fray. Thermoregulation is another subtle but important part of the jaguar's life. In the humid heat of midday, it retreats to shaded rest sites, often near water, where breezes are cooler. Hunting is concentrated in the cooler hours, when muscle efficiency is higher and the risk of overheating is lower. These rhythms are part of a broader pattern of energy optimization that allows a jaguar to maintain peak performance without expending unnecessary effort. Evolution has sculpted a predator that does not waste, whether it is energy, opportunity, or motion. There is an irony in how rarely jaguars are seen by those who share their habitat. Even experienced trackers may spend years in the field without catching more than a fleeting glimpse. Their scarcity is partly a function of low population density, but it is also testament to their mastery of concealment. For the jaguar, invisibility is not just a hunting tactic, it is survival. It protects them from rivals, from human hunters, and from the dangers of a rainforest, where even an apex predator can be injured or killed. In the hierarchy of the Amazon's lethal residents, the jaguar is a constant reminder that dominance here is not about brute force alone, but about precision, adaptability, and the ability to act without hesitation. For those who imagine the jungle as chaotic, the jaguar reveals another truth. It is a place of intricate design, where each predator's strengths occupy a distinct niche, and where the margin between life and death is measured not in minutes, but in the silent, unseen steps that close the distance between hunter and hunted. Beneath the thick mat of fallen leaves and tangled roots that carpet the Amazon forest floor, there is a realm few animals dare to enter. Here, in the humid dark between soil and surface, lives a predator whose body is all weapon and motion, the giant Amazonian centipede, Scolopendra gigantea. At first glance, it seems almost mechanical in design, an elongated, flexible frame divided into dozens of segments, each sprouting a pair of legs that move in a rippling, synchronous wave. This undulating motion is not just for speed. It allows the centipede to navigate tight burrows, climb vertical surfaces, and even run backward with unsettling precision. Reaching lengths over 30 centimeters, and in some cases pushing past 35, it is one of the largest terrestrial invertebrate predators in the world. To the casual observer, the centipede's most obvious threat lies in its speed, but the real danger begins when it strikes. The first pair of legs have evolved into venom-injecting claws called forcipules, curved and hollow like twin syringes. These are driven into prey with remarkable force, delivering a neurotoxic cocktail designed to immobilize almost instantly. For small animals, insects, frogs, even birds, this is a death sentence measured in seconds. For humans, a bite may not be fatal, but it can inflict burning pain that radiates up the limb, often accompanied by swelling, dizziness, fever, and in severe cases, temporary paralysis. In the dense, predator-rich environment of the rainforest, such immobilization can be as dangerous as the venom itself, leaving the victim vulnerable to whatever else prowls nearby. Unlike many venomous species that rely on stealth and avoidance, the giant Amazonian centipede is both an active hunter and an aggressive defender. It is not above initiating an attack when cornered, and it has no qualms about climbing onto its target, a tactic that can send even experienced field researchers into sudden retreat. Its behavior is the product of an evolutionary arms race taking place in miniature at the soil's surface. Here, competition for protein is fierce. Amphibians, insects, small reptiles, and other arthropods compete for the same resources, and any hesitation in claiming a meal can mean losing it to a faster rival. The centipede's combination of agility, weaponry, and boldness ensures it wins these contests more often than not. Its hunting strategies are varied and opportunistic. In the relative cool of early morning or after sunset, it emerges from its hiding places to patrol the leaf litter. Sensory organs along its antennae detect vibrations and chemical traces, leading it to prey that may be buried, camouflaged, or motionless. The centipede's segmented body allows it to coil into constricting loops around struggling prey, anchoring with multiple legs while delivering repeated envenomations. This grappling ability, combined with its ability to pursue quarry into tight spaces, makes it a predator few small animals can escape once targeted. The centipede's ecological role is often underappreciated. In controlling populations of insects, small vertebrates, and even other invertebrate predators, it acts as a regulator within the rainforest's microhabitats. Without such hunters, prey species could surge in number, potentially disrupting the delicate balance of nutrient cycling and plant regeneration. By consuming a wide range of organisms from cockroaches to small rodents, the centipede helps maintain the diversity and stability of the system at a scale invisible to larger predators. Its presence ensures that the forest's decomposer community, fungi, bacteria, and scavenger insects, is not overwhelmed by unchecked populations of small herbivores and detritivores. Yet, from a human perspective, the centipede is unsettling precisely because it is so difficult to predict. Unlike snakes or spiders, which often freeze or retreat when confronted, Scolopendra gigantea is just as likely to rush toward disturbance as away from it. In some documented cases, centipedes have been observed scaling walls and vegetation to reach prey roosting above the ground. This vertical hunting ability allows them to exploit resources that ground-bound predators cannot, including bats in low-hanging roosts or birds sleeping on exposed branches. In rare instances, such attacks have been observed on animals larger than the centipede itself, with the predator relying on repeated venom delivery to wear down its target's resistance. For humans navigating the jungle, encounters often occur by surprise. A misplaced hand on a log, an overturned stone, or the act of reaching into a dark crevice can bring the centipede's forcipules into striking range in less than a second. The pain is often described as immediate and overwhelming, radiating in waves that can leave a limbusless for hours or days. In survival scenarios, such incapacitation is a serious liability. Even without lasting damage, the sheer intensity of the pain can impair judgment and mobility, factors that, in the broader context of the rainforest's hazards, can escalate quickly. Within the theoretical framework of the Amazon's predatory alliance, the giant Amazonian centipede would serve as the warden of the underworld, the living barrier to the soil, roots, and low-lying shelters where many creatures might otherwise hide from larger hunters. While a jaguar stalks above and a piranha patrols the water, the centipede ensures there is no safe refuge below. Prey forced into burrows or crevices to avoid one predator may instead find themselves face to face with this fast-moving arthropod, whose reach extends into the smallest cracks of the forest floor. In this imagined network of lethality, the centipede is the specialist that denies the comfort of concealment. From a physiological standpoint, Scolopendra gigantea has evolved a remarkable degree of resilience. Its exoskeleton provides not only structural support, but also a degree of armor against predators. While it is vulnerable to certain amphibians, reptiles, and birds, its agility and defensive venom make it a difficult target to subdue. It is also remarkably tolerant of a range of temperatures and humidities, allowing it to remain active through the seasonal shifts of the Amazon climate. During the wet season, it can be found in higher positions, exploiting the surge of insect life in flooded areas. In the dry season, it retreats deeper into the soil, conserving moisture and avoiding overheating while hunting in the cooler hours. The centipede's sensory world is alien to ours. Without the complex vision of vertebrates, it relies heavily on touch and chemical detection. Its antennae sweep continuously through the air and across the substrate, mapping its surroundings with a precision that rivals sight in these dark, cluttered environments. Every tremor in the ground, every shift in air pressure, and every chemical trace left by passing prey is catalogued and acted upon. This allows the centipede to detect not just where something is, but where it is going, enabling ambushes that appear almost anticipatory in their timing. Despite their fearsome reputation, centipedes are themselves integral prey for larger species. Birds, snakes, and even mammals like coatis will consume them if the opportunity arises. This dual role, predator and prey, keeps them embedded in the energy flow of the ecosystem. They are proof that even the most formidable hunters are, in turn, hunted, their survival dependent on both their offensive and defensive capacities. For those who work in the Amazon, the giant Amazonian centipede represents an enduring reminder of the forest's complexity. Danger here is not always heralded by size or sound. Sometimes it comes in a small, fast-moving package that can slip between your fingers and leave you incapacitated in minutes. Its existence challenges the assumption that the forest floor is merely a passive stage for the dramas of larger animals. Instead, it is a battlefield in miniature, with its own apex predators, its own strategies, and its own set of consequences for those who underestimate them. In the tangled mid-canopy of the Amazon rainforest, where vines braid themselves into living rope and bromeliads cradle hidden pools of water, the air is thick with the quiet rustle of leaves and the faint hum of insect life. Here, between the ground and the open sky, lives a predator that does not chase, leap, or swim, but instead rules through patience, proximity, and the precision of a strike measured in fractions of a second. The Brazilian wandering spider, Phoneutria species, is among the most formidable arachnids in the world, not for its size alone, though its leg span can reach nearly 15 centimeters, but for the potency of its venom and the confidence with which it confronts potential threats. Unlike most spiders, which rely on webs to ensnare prey, this hunter lives without a fixed trap, moving freely along tree trunks, leaves and branches in search of opportunity. Its body is built for this nomadic lifestyle. Long, powerful legs allow it to bridge gaps in the vegetation with ease, while specialized hairs along the limbs and feet provide grip on even the slickest of leaves. Each movement is both deliberate and silent, the spider using vibration-sensitive hairs and slit sensilla to interpret its environment with extraordinary detail. These sensory adaptations allow it to detect the faintest tremor from a beetle crawling on a nearby branch, or the subtle shift of air as a moth passes overhead. In a world where most predators hunt by sight, the wandering spider thrives in conditions of dim light and dense cover, relying on touch and vibration as its primary senses. Its venom is the real reason it commands such respect. A potent neurotoxin, it acts on both the nervous and muscular systems, causing uncontrolled spasms, severe pain, and in extreme cases respiratory failure. The composition of this venom is a chemical marvel, a mixture of peptides and proteins that disrupt nerve signaling by interfering with ion channels, preventing muscles from relaxing. For the spider, the benefit is immediate immobilization of prey, a beetle or small frog that cannot kick, jump, or flutter away once bitten. For humans, the effects are more complex, and while fatalities are rare with modern medical intervention, the intensity of the symptoms can be life-threatening without prompt care. The venom's potency is such that even a defensive bite can cause systemic effects within minutes, and its reputation among field biologists is enough to ensure cautious handling. The wandering spider's strategy of active hunting comes with risks that most web-building spiders avoid. Without the protection of a fixed retreat, it must constantly navigate a landscape full of larger predators, birds, lizards, even mammals like opossums that actively hunt spiders. To offset this vulnerability, the wandering spider has developed an unusually aggressive defensive posture. When threatened, it raises its front legs high, exposing its fangs, and may even advance toward the source of disturbance. This willingness to confront rather than retreat is part bluff, part genuine readiness to fight. In the tight confines of the understory, where escape routes are limited, an intimidating display can mean the difference between survival and becoming another creature's meal. From an ecological perspective, spiders like Phonutria occupy a critical control point in the forest's vertical structure. By preying on insects, amphibians and small reptiles, they regulate populations that could otherwise surge and cause imbalances in the ecosystem. They are particularly important in keeping herbivorous insects in check, preventing outbreaks that might damage leaves, flowers, or fruit critical to other species. In doing so, they help maintain the delicate interplay between plant life and the animals that depend on it. Their role in the imagined predatory alliance is that of the vertical gatekeeper. While anacondas patrol the rivers, piranhas police the water, jaguars control the ground, and centipedes dominate the soil, the wandering spider locks down the mid-level escape routes, the tangled branches, vine bridges, and leaf platforms that form the rainforest's secondary highways. Prey attempting to flee upward to evade terrestrial hunters may find themselves entering the territory of an equally deadly predator. Here, height offers no safety. The same limbs that carry an animal away from danger on the ground may lead them directly into the reach of a waiting spider. The Brazilian wandering spider's hunting methods are not limited to ambush. It is capable of swift, calculated pursuit over short distances, particularly when prey is already within striking range. The attack sequence is often startlingly fast: a lunge, a bite, and then an immediate retreat to allow the venom to take effect. Once the prey is incapacitated, the spider returns to begin external digestion, injecting enzymes that liquefy tissue into a nutrient-rich slurry. This method of feeding is both efficient and adaptive, allowing the spider to consume meals larger than its own body by essentially pre-processing the food outside its digestive system. One of the more surprising aspects of their biology is their adaptability to microclimates. Wandering spiders are most active at night, when humidity levels are higher and temperatures cooler, reducing the risk of desiccation. During the heat of the day, they may take shelter in the leaf axils of bromeliads, in the folds of palm fronds, or inside hollow stems. In human-inhabited areas, this habit of sheltering in enclosed spaces can lead to accidental encounters. The infamous cases of spiders found inside boots, laundry, or thatch roofs are the result of this daytime hiding behavior. Such interactions, though relatively infrequent, are part of what has cemented their reputation as one of the world's most dangerous spiders. Their reproduction follows a seasonal rhythm tied to rainfall patterns. Mating occurs during periods of high humidity, which benefits the survival of the egg sacs and the tiny spiderlings within. Females are highly protective of their eggs, often guarding them aggressively until hatching. This maternal investment increases offspring survival rates in a world where predation pressure is intense from the moment of birth. Once dispersed, juveniles face the same hazards as adults, but in smaller, less capable bodies. Many will not survive to maturity, but those that do are finely tuned predators from the moment they can hunt. From a human safety perspective, the wandering spider presents a dual challenge. It is both highly venomous and highly mobile. Unlike a snake coiled in the undergrowth or a scorpion under a rock, it does not remain in one place for long, making it harder to predict where an encounter might occur. For researchers and locals alike, caution is the best defense, awareness of where one places hands and feet, and respect for the spaces these spiders may choose as shelter. In the intricate network of the rainforest, the Brazilian wandering spider is a reminder that danger is not always loud or large. It moves through its environment like a shadow with weight, blending in until the moment it chooses to act. Its existence reinforces a core truth of the Amazon. Every layer of this ecosystem, from the soil to the canopy, is patrolled by predators specialized for their terrain. In the imagined hierarchy of the predatory alliance, the spider is the sentry in the trees, the unseen hazard in the upward escape, and the keeper of the vertical realm. For any creature seeking refuge above the ground, its presence turns the climb from salvation into gamble. And in a forest where survival is already a matter of narrow margins, the difference between those two outcomes is often measured in the split second it takes for 8 legs to close the distance. The Amazon rainforest, viewed from above, appears boundless, a living ocean of green, broken only by the braided gleam of rivers. But step inside, and that illusion of openness collapses into a labyrinth where every path is a corridor under surveillance. It is not a single predator that rules here, but a network, each species occupying its own domain and enforcing its own boundaries. Alone, each of these hunters is formidable. Together, they form something more, an overlapping lattice of danger in which the margins for survival are measured in seconds. At the water's edge, the anaconda waits. It is not a restless hunter, wasting strength in pursuit. Instead, it functions like a submerged snare, a living checkpoint between forest and river. Its body, patterned in green and black, disappears into the liquid shadows beneath overhanging branches. Many animals can cross a river, but few can do so without passing through the reach of an anaconda. Its strike is a direct inversion of the prey's intent. What begins as a step into cooling water ends in a crushing embrace. Evolution has placed this serpent precisely where it is most effective, at the interface between two ecosystems, regulating the flow of life between them. In the open current, the piranha enforces a different kind of order. These fish are rarely in a state of frenzy, but the potential is always there, dormant until triggered. The water itself becomes a sensory web carrying chemical signals that can rally dozens of fish to a single wound in moments. A bird landing awkwardly, a mammal losing its footing, or a fish injured by another predator. Each disturbance has the potential to activate this rapid response system. Piranhas don't just consume, they remove, accelerating decomposition to the point where carcasses vanish in hours rather than days. In doing so, they keep the river free of lingering decay, but also ensure that injury and weakness are liabilities too great to carry in their territory. Beyond the banks, the jaguar moves through the shadows of the forest floor. Here, vision is short-ranged and movement is restricted by roots, logs, and dense foliage, conditions in which a jaguar's stealth is most effective. Its hunting strategy is one of precision: a short stalk, a calculated pounce, and a killing bite delivered through the skull or spine. Few predators in the world dispatch prey so quickly. As the primary terrestrial apex predator of the region, the jaguar's presence shapes the behavior of almost every animal on land. Capybaras stay close to water, deer use narrow, less exposed trails, and smaller carnivores alter their activity patterns to avoid direct encounters. The forest floor is not a place where intruders move freely. It is a space constantly under review by an animal capable of ending a hunt in an instant. Beneath this layer lies another, one that is often ignored until it makes itself known. The giant Amazonian centipede operates in a parallel world just below the surface, navigating tunnels between roots, stones, and decaying logs. Its reach extends into spaces where larger predators cannot follow, giving it access to a different class of prey: insects, amphibians, small reptiles, even fledgling birds in low nests. It moves with a fluidity that defies the rigidity of its segmented body, its legs working in waves to push it forward, upward, or backward as needed. The centipede's venom acts quickly, not to kill outright, but to paralyze, ensuring the prey can't fight back. For larger animals, including humans, the effect is immobilizing pain, the kind that can turn a functional limb into a liability. In the predatory network, this means the centipede can weaken or disable prey that might otherwise escape other hunters. Above, in the tangle of vines and leaves, the Brazilian wandering spider claims the vertical domain. It has no permanent web. Instead, it moves through the mid-canopy in search of insects, frogs, and small lizards. Its sensory world is dominated by vibrations and chemical cues, allowing it to detect prey or danger in near darkness. When it strikes, the speed is shocking. A sudden forward lunge and a bite that delivers one of the most potent venoms of any spider on Earth. This venom disrupts nerve signaling, leading to muscle spasms, respiratory distress, and in rare untreated cases, death. Many predators in the Amazon ignore the canopy entirely when chasing prey upward. The wandering spider ensures that this escape route carries risks equal to those on the ground or in the water. Individually, each of these predators occupies a niche defined by anatomy, behavior, and evolutionary history. Yet the rainforest is a place where boundaries blur. A wounded capybara escaping a jaguar may plunge into the river only to meet an anaconda or piranhas. A bird fleeing the same predator might take refuge in the canopy where a spider's ambush awaits. Even the smallest miscalculation, a misstep into a root hollow or a hand placed on a shaded log, can lead to a centipede's bite, slowing the victim at exactly the wrong moment. These are not coordinated attacks in the human sense. There is no conscious pact. But the functional overlap is real, and it produces an effect similar to a deliberately organized defense system. From an ecological standpoint, what appears as a predatory alliance is the sum of evolutionary processes that have refined each hunter's efficiency within its own environment while allowing them to coexist without directly competing for the same prey. This division of territory, horizontal and vertical, aquatic and terrestrial, above and below, reduces conflict between species while increasing the overall predation pressure across the ecosystem. The result is a landscape where few safe zones remain for animals that are injured, slow, or inexperienced. The system is self-reinforcing. Prey that escape one predator's range often stumble into another's, and the constant turnover of biomass ensures a steady flow of energy through the food web. For humans, the danger is amplified by unfamiliarity. In our native environments, threats are often singular and visible: a single large carnivore, a venomous snake, an aggressive territorial animal. In the Amazon, threat is multidirectional and often invisible until the moment of contact. The real hazard is not merely encountering a predator, but encountering it in the overlap zone where escape routes are already blocked by others. Falling into a riverbank pool where an anaconda waits, then thrashing into water that draws piranhas, is not just bad luck. It is the natural outcome of moving through a place where multiple apex predators' ranges converge. Similarly, being immobilized by a centipede's venom while within earshot of a jaguar's territory is an example of how independent hunting strategies can compound into lethal synergy. Whether this system is simply the outcome of millions of years of adaptive evolution or something older and more deliberate is a question that belongs as much to human imagination as to science. Ancient stories from indigenous cultures sometimes describe the rainforest as a single organism, its animals as parts of a greater whole, enforcing laws older than humanity itself. In these accounts, predators are not random hazards, but guardians, each with a role, each ensuring that balance is maintained through the continual testing of the unfit. While science frames these relationships in terms of trophic dynamics and niche partitioning, the result is not far removed from the myth. The jungle runs on blood, and survival is earned, not granted. In the end, whether viewed through the lens of ecology or through the darker filter of folklore, the effect is the same. The Amazon's apex predators, serpent, fish, cat, arthropod and spider, do not compete for dominance. They enforce it collectively, their territories interwoven into a seamless barrier against the careless and the weak. To cross their realm is to enter a test without rules, where every step, stroke, or climb risks triggering an encounter. It is a reminder that in this place, survival is not a passive state, but an active negotiation with the environment, one in which the cost of failure is absolute. The pact may be unspoken, but it is written clearly in the structure of the forest, in the movement of its rivers, and in the eyes of the predators that watch from every layer. Here, life is never taken without purpose, but it is taken without hesitation. And that is the law that has kept this system whole for longer than we have existed to witness it.